I slammed my laptop shut, running a hand through my hair. Marcus, I swear, if Serena finds that typo, I'm done. Marcus leaned back in his chair, smirking. Relax. One typo doesn't equal the apocalypse. Does if the apocalypse wears heels and stares at you like you just insulted her entire existence. I muttered, glancing toward Serena's office. The glass walls reflected her silhouette, posture rigid, aura untouchable. You're overthinking, Marcus said, sipping his coffee. She's strict, yeah, but she's not going to fire you over one-line break. I wanted to believe him, but my stomach twisted. Every time I messed up even slightly, her glare felt like frostbite. Dylan passed by, smirking. Careful, newbie, he said, his voice low, almost mocking. Ice Queen doesn't tolerate mistakes. I clenched my fists under the desk. Thanks for the pep talk, Dylan, I said dryly. Serena's office door opened, and she stepped out. The room seemed colder. Her heels clicked against the marble floor like a verdict being delivered. She glanced at me, then at Dylan, expression unreadable. Report on the Hargrove project, she said, voice clipped. I swallowed. It's almost done. I just need a few more hours for the final edits. Almost done? Her brow arched. I don't have almost done in my vocabulary. I nodded quickly. Yes, ma'am. I'll finalize it tonight. Marcus whispered. See? She's testing you, not executing a death sentence. Testing or not, it feels like my funeral, I muttered back. Later, I walked to the break room to clear my head. Marcus joined me, carrying 2 coffees. Here, he said, handing me one. You look like you could use it. Thanks, I said, taking a sip. I don't get her sometimes. She's so cold, but every now and then, there's a flicker, like she's human underneath all that steel. Marcus nodded. She's probably been through hell. People like her. Perfection isn't just about work. It's armor. I stared at the coffee, bitter but warming. Armor, huh? Maybe. Or maybe she just enjoys scaring people. You're not the first to say that, Marcus said, grinning. The office felt quieter than usual. I noticed Dylan lingering near the printer, smirking as he glanced at my desk. Plotting your downfall again? I asked, half joking. Merely observing, he said, voice slick. But don't worry, I'll give you a front row seat when you inevitably fail. Rolled my eyes. You're charming, truly, Serena's voice called from the hallway. Evan. I froze. Heart pounding, I approached. Yes, Ms. Frost. She handed me a stack of papers. These need to be perfect. No excuses. Yes, ma'am, I said, hiding the tremor in my fingers. As she walked away, I muttered to myself, why does she terrify me and intrigue me at the same time? Marcus leaned in, whispering, that's the Ice Queen effect. You either break or you rise. I nodded slowly, sipping my coffee. I guess I'll find out which one I am. By the time the evening rolled around, I was hunched over my desk, double-checking every detail. Serena passed by, eyes sharp, then paused. Good, she said almost softly, and moved on. I blinked. Did she just compliment me? Maybe, I whispered. There's more to her than frostbite. Marcus chuckled from across the room. Told you. Ice can melt, smirked, though uneasily. Yeah, but only if I survive long enough to see it. The office lights dimmed. Empty hallways, distant chatter, and the subtle hum of computers. I leaned back, thinking about the weeks ahead. Mistakes could be fatal, but maybe, just maybe, surviving Serena Frost's storm could be worth it. And that thought, terrifying as it was, sent a strange thrill through me. The office party was louder than I expected. Glasses clinked, music thumped, and everyone seemed to forget work existed for a few hours. I nursed my first drink, telling myself one wouldn't hurt. Careful, Evan, Marcus warned, nudging my shoulder. You've already had 2. Pace yourself. I'm fine, I slurred slightly, hoping my voice sounded steadier than it was. Just trying to relax. You should try it. I'm relaxing, he said, raising his own glass. I just don't want to see you make a scene in front of Serena, Relax, relax, I muttered. But the thought of her eyes scanning the crowd made my chest tighten. I wasn't imagining it. Serena had a way of noticing every little thing. Evan, come here. Dylan's voice rang out, dragging me toward the dance floor. You're letting Marcus hog all the fun? 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 I mumbled, following him. My stomach twisted as I saw her near the buffet, serene as ever, hair perfectly in place. I swallowed, suddenly nervous. You okay? Marcus asked quietly. Yeah, I said, though my voice betrayed me. Just looking at Serena. You mean staring? He teased. Don't drool on her, or you'll be the office joke by Monday. I tried to laugh, but the alcohol made it tumble out wrong. My vision blurred slightly, the room tilting in a strange rhythm. Someone bumped into me. I think it was Dylan, but I wasn't paying attention. I need a moment, I muttered, stumbling toward the balcony for fresh air. Evan, careful, Marcus called. But I was already halfway out. The night air hit me, sharp and cooling. I leaned against the railing, trying to steady myself. Then I felt her there. Evan. Serena's voice was quiet, but it cut through the music. I froze. My heart thumped like a drum. Ms. Frost. Aya, you're drunk, she said flatly, but not in anger. More observational. Just a little, I admitted, shaking my head. I didn't mean to. She stepped closer, and for a moment, the world slowed. I blinked. And then somehow, I kissed her. I jerked back instantly. Oh my God, she didn't recoil. She didn't yell. She just blinked at me, expression unreadable. I need to sit, I stammered, gripping the railing. My stomach flipped, and panic set in. Colleagues nearby whispered, glancing at me with raised eyebrows. Evan, are you okay? Marcus appeared beside me, worry clear on his face. I kissed Serena, I said, voice cracking. By accident? I'm doomed. Fired? For sure. Marcus blinked. You what? I kissed her. I don't know how I threw my hands up, horrified. I was drunk. Oh God, she's going to kill me. She's calm, Marcus said, frowning. That's unusual. Usually she's Ice Queen mode. You sure you didn't just imagine it? She didn't pull away. I groaned. Marcus. She didn't react. Maybe she didn't take it seriously. Or maybe she's testing you, Marcus offered cautiously. You've seen her at work? This could be one of those things? One of those things? I repeated incredulously. She's going to fire me. Or worse, humiliate me. She didn't, he said again. And she hasn't said anything yet. Calm down. Figure out your next move. I whispered, pacing. I'm a disaster. Everyone saw. Dylan probably saw. Dylan emerged from the crowd smirking. Looks like someone's getting attention from the boss. Hope it's positive, I glared, stomach nodding. Dylan, don't relax, he said, chuckling. Just saying, party's over soon. Don't make it worse. I'm thinking about it every second, I muttered, eyes darting towards Serena again. She leaned against the railing, quiet, her expression unreadable but calm, almost amused. Evan, Marcus whispered, look at her. She's not panicking, not yelling, not scolding. That's a good sign. I wanted to believe him, but my mind raced. Good sign? I just kissed her by accident. And survived, he said. Barely, but survived. I ran a hand over my face. Barely. Yeah, I survived barely. But what does it mean? Why isn't she mad? I don't know, Marcus said honestly. She's complicated. Just be ready. Things might change. I nodded slowly, staring at her. Calm poised, Ice Queen as always. And yet, something flickered in her eyes. Something I couldn't name. Maybe I muttered to myself. Maybe I just got lucky. Or maybe there's more to her than frostbite. The music faded in my ears as I replayed every second. Every glance, every subtle gesture. I shivered, not from the cold, but from anticipation and fear. This one night had changed everything. I paced outside Serena's office, stomach twisting like a knot I couldn't untangle. My hands felt clammy. Okay, Evan, this is it. Fired or worse, I muttered under my breath. Alina said she's ready for you, a voice said behind me. It was Marcus, leaning against the wall, arms crossed. Ready for what? To fire me? To humiliate me? Or to have me escorted out in shame? I asked, voice trembling. Marcus shook his head. Or none of that. You survived last night? Maybe she's calm about it. I gave him a skeptical look. Calm. Serena Frost. Calm. You're insane, Marcus smirked. Or hopeful. Anyway, good luck. I took a deep breath, straightened my tie, and knocked. Enter, came her voice, sharp and controlled. I stepped in. The office was pristine, intimidating as ever. Serena sat behind her massive desk, posture perfect, hands folded. But something in her eyes. It wasn't anger. Not exactly. Sit, she said, gesturing to the chair across from her. I obeyed, heart hammering. Ms. Frost. Evan, you know what happened last night? She said calmly. I nodded, swallowing. Yes, my voice caught. I'm sorry. I never meant. She raised a hand. Don't. I know it was an accident. That's not what we're discussing. I blinked. Then, what are we discussing? Your future, she said, leaning back slightly, and mine. I frowned. I don't understand. I'm offering you something, she said, voice measured. $10 million. In a marriage proposal? I choked on my own thoughts. What? You heard me, she said, eyes unwavering. Sure million. And a proposal. You'll gain security, wealth, and position. I'll gain certain protections. I laughed nervously. Protection. From what? Me? No, she said flatly. From enemies, rivals, complications. This is strategic, calculated. I rubbed my face. You're joking, right? No joke, she said. I don't act without purpose. Why me? I asked, voice barely audible. I'm a mid-level employee. Why this? She steepled her fingers. Because you're trustworthy, resourceful, and adaptable. You survived last night without panicking. Many wouldn't. I stared at her, mind spinning. You're offering marriage as a strategy? Yes, she said. Not romance. Not love. Strategy. Mutual benefit. Protection. Control. You get wealth and stability. I get assurance. Simple. I sat back, trying to digest it. And if I say no, you walk away with nothing, she said, calm. No job, no opportunity, and everyone will remember last night. I felt my pulse spike. Everyone will know. About the kiss? Yes, she said, almost smiling. Transparency is necessary for trust and for power. I ran a hand over my face. This is insane. It's reality, she said. Insane or not, the choice is yours. Decide carefully. The room felt smaller. I could hear my heartbeat loud and frantic. And Alina? I asked, nodding toward her assistant standing by the door. She ensures compliance, Serena said. Observes, records, and advises. Loyal, efficient. She will facilitate whatever you choose. Lena's eyes met mine, cool and unreadable. I shivered. Loyalty to Serena was fierce. Crossing her? Impossible. I swallowed, mind racing. I don't know what to say. I can't just decide like this. Think carefully, Serena said. 10 million in security, or obscurity and regret. And don't underestimate how fast your colleagues will spread last night's event. I leaned back, staring at her. Calm, collected, ice queen as ever. Yet beneath that, something flickered. Calculation, maybe curiosity. I need time, I whispered. You have until tomorrow, she said. But don't hesitate. Opportunity doesn't wait. I nodded slowly, stomach tight. Tomorrow, I said. I'll think she'll return to her work, signaling the end of the meeting. Alina followed her, leaving me alone. I sank into the chair, chest heaving. $10 million. Marriage, strategy, survival, fear, confusion, opportunity. Did I just get offered? A life-changing proposal. Or a trap, I muttered aloud. Marcus's words echoed in my head. Be ready. Things might change. Things had already changed, and I wasn't sure if I was ready at all. I sat at my desk, staring at the proposal email Serena had left on my computer. $10 million, a marriage offer. My mind spun in circles, still staring at it. Marcus leaned against my cubicle. His expression was serious this time. No teasing. I can't stop, I muttered. It's insane. Who? Who offers $10 million and marriage like it's a business deal? That's Serena, he said, shaking his head. Calculating. Smart. Dangerous. Dangerous. I laughed nervously. Marcus, she's offering me life-changing money. This is a chance most people dream of. She's manipulating you, he countered. You've seen her. Ice Queen, strategist. Nothing she does is purely emotional. I frowned, drumming my fingers on the desk. Manipulation or opportunity? Where's the line? I don't even know if I can trust her. Or myself. Exactly, Marcus said. Think about it. You accept. You're tied to her. Every move, every choice will be influenced. I swallowed hard, remembering the way she looked at me yesterday. Calm, controlled, almost amused. Before I could respond, Dylan appeared by my desk. So, heard you're the boss's new fiancé? He smirked, eyes gleaming. Shut up, Dylan, I muttered, lowering my voice. Just curious, he said, leaning closer. People are talking. You might want to think about what kind of reputation you're building. I clenched my jaw. I don't care what people think. This is about me, sure, he said with a smirk and walked away, leaving me shaking with frustration. Marcus sighed. See? Gossip spreads fast. You have to be careful. She knows that. She's testing you. Testing me? I asked how. By seeing how you handle pressure, how you react to temptation, she's assessing if you're reliable, if you'll bend or break. I rubbed my forehead, trying to think. $10 million could solve everything: debts, future, security. But marriage? That's permanent, risky, personal, strategic, a trap. Maybe I remembered Mr. Hawthorne's words from a meeting last month. Serena has always been careful. She doesn't act impulsively. Whatever she proposes, there's a reason. Exactly, Marcus said, noticing my distant expression. That's what I'm saying. Don't jump because it's tempting. Think carefully, I sighed. Leaning back, think carefully. I've made bad choices before. Too many. Maybe this is another one. Or maybe my chance to finally get it right. Or your biggest mistake, Marcus muttered. The office chatter grew louder around me. Whispered voices. Colleagues exchanging glances. I could feel their curiosity. My internal panic rose. Accepting Serena's offer would make me the center of speculation. Refusing could be equally dangerous. I glanced at the tasks Serena had left for me, minor adjustments. Careful reviews. Nothing overwhelming, but precise. Subtle tests. She was measuring my competence and attention to detail while giving me a taste of influence. I muttered under my breath. She's playing chess. I'm the pawn, or maybe the queen's knight. Marcus tilted his head. Or the player. If you're smart, I stared at the screen, thinking about my past failures. All the times I'd stumbled, made small mistakes that felt huge. How often I'd wished for a second chance. Could this be it? My second chance? Or just a setup for disaster? A soft ping signaled an incoming message. It was Alina. Serena requests your presence in her office. Now, froze. Now, but I haven't decided. That's the point, Marcus said quietly. She's testing your hesitation, your reaction under pressure. I nodded slowly, standing. Heart pounding, stomach twisting. Fine, I'll go. But I need to keep my mind clear. As I walked toward her office, I rehearsed my thoughts, my arguments, my questions. The corridor felt narrower than usual, shadows stretching across the floor. Every step made my doubts heavier, yet my curiosity grew stronger. I whispered to myself, this could change everything, or ruin me completely. I have to survive, think, and play carefully. One wrong move, and it's over. And with that thought, I reached her door, hand on the handle, knowing that whatever happened next might decide the course of my life forever. The office was quiet, dim lights casting long shadows. I found Serena alone in the lounge, holding a cup of coffee. She looked different. Not cold, not distant, just human. You're still here? I asked, cautiously approaching. I prefer the quiet, she said, voice softer than usual. It helps me think. I hesitated. Mind if I join you? She studied me, expression unreadable. If you wish, I grabbed a chair sitting across from her. I never realized how much pressure you must be under. Managing everything? Everyone. She smirked faintly. Pressure? Yes. Expectation? Always. Trust? Rarely, I raised an eyebrow. Trust? Rarely? My father. She began, staring into her cup. He destroyed any sense of security I had. Family, business. I learned early that betrayal comes from the people you love most. I leaned forward. I didn't know. Most don't, she said. It's better that way. People see me as the Ice Queen. It keeps them at a distance. Safer. I nodded slowly. It makes sense. No. I thought you were. Untouchable. But everyone has reasons. Exactly, she said. Everyone has reasons. Some just hide them better. I hesitated, then asked, Did you ever wish things had been different? Family? Trust? A flicker of sadness crossed her eyes. Sometimes, but wishing changes nothing. Only action does. I realized then why she was so meticulous, so calculating. She had to be. Every move mattered. Every choice. Survival the moment stretched, filled with quiet understanding. I felt a mix of sympathy and something else, an attraction I hadn't expected. You know, she said suddenly, breaking the silence, you're surprisingly calm despite everything. Most would be trembling after last night. I don't know why, I admitted. I guess. I've faced failure enough to know panic doesn't help. Wise, she said, tone approving, and dangerous if overconfidence sets in. Before I could respond, a ping from my laptop drew my attention. Dylan, I frowned. A message, careful, someone's hiding mistakes. Could be fun to watch you squirm. I gritted my teeth. Marcus was right. Dylan won't let anything go. Thrives on chaos, Serena said quietly, almost a warning. Decide carefully whether to intervene or let things unfold. Power isn't just about money or position. It's about control and timing, I swallowed. And if I intervene, you risk exposure. And loyalty, she said. Mistakes can cost more than you imagine. I paused, thinking of all the office rumors, whispers, and the delicate balance of trust. $10 million marriage. Influence, responsibility, risk. You make it sound simple, I muttered, voice low. Nothing about life is simple, she said, eyes meeting mine. Even when people pretend it is. The moment lingered. I realized she wasn't just testing me, she was letting me glimpse her world. The reasons behind the ice, the careful strategies, the calculated risks. I don't know if I'm ready for this, I whispered. I keep thinking about last night, about the proposal, and everything feels like a test I might fail. She smiled faintly, not cruelly. Then you think too much. That's why people like Dylan exist. They exploit hesitation. I clenched my fists. I won't let him ruin anything, but I don't want to overstep. Good, she said. Understand limits before testing them. That's how you survive. And maybe, one day, how you thrive. Her words settled in my mind, heavy but motivating. I felt a strange mixture: fear, respect, curiosity, and a growing sense of connection. I think I understand a little more now, I said softly. Why you are the way you are. And why I see potential in you, she replied. Remember, empathy is power. Knowing motives, fears, and weaknesses. It changes everything. I nodded slowly, realizing the depth of what she had just shared. Secrets, betrayal, strategy, they were all pieces of the same puzzle, and I was now part of it. The lounge was silent again. Only the hum of the coffee machine and the faint city lights outside. I whispered, almost to myself, this changes everything, and yet it makes me want to protect her, even from people like Dylan. She looked at me unreadable, and for a moment I thought I saw a hint of approval. I left the lounge with my mind racing. Choices, risks, empathy, strategy, 10 million, marriage, influence. Everything felt heavier, more complicated, and more irresistible. I paced in my apartment, proposal email open on my laptop. $10 million. Marriage, strategy, power, risk, fear, desire, it all collided in my mind. Like a storm I couldn't control. Evan, have you made a decision? Marcus's voice came through the phone. I'm thinking, I said, voice tight. But thinking is dangerous. I keep picturing everything going wrong. Of course, he said. That's why I'm calling. Remember, she's calculating. Every choice, every word matters. Don't just say yes. Negotiate. Protect yourself. I know, I muttered. I can't just be a pawn. Good, because if you do, Dylan will be waiting to push you off the board. I ran a hand through my hair. I've thought about that. Dylan won't stop. And now, he has Vanessa helping him. I saw them whispering today. Probably plotting already. Marcus sighed. You're right. Just be careful. And remember, power tastes sweet, but bites harder if you're not ready. I'll be ready, I said, though uncertainty lingered. I have to be. The next morning, I walked into Serena's office, heart pounding, mind focused. She looked up from her desk, expression unreadable. You've decided? She asked, calm, composed. Yes, I said firmly, though my voice trembled slightly. But on my terms. Her brow arched. Terms? Yes, I said, sitting across from her. I accept, but I need autonomy. I need clarity on responsibilities, boundaries, and decision-making. I won't just be a figurehead or a pawn. I want financial security, yes, but also professional agency. She studied me, eyes sharp. Interesting. You negotiate rather than comply blindly. Bold. I won't apologize for it, I said. I respect the opportunity, but I also need to protect myself. 10 million is meaningless if I lose myself in the process. She leaned back, steepling her fingers. And what about your loyalty? Loyalty, I said slowly, must be earned, not assumed. I will give my best, but I need assurance that my voice matters, that I have power, not just privilege. A flicker of something crossed her eyes' approval, maybe amusement. Very well. Conditions noted. I will honor them for the sake of strategy. And because you've shown resilience. I hope resilience is enough, I muttered, though more confidently now. Resilience, intelligence, and discretion, she said. Those three will serve you well. Now, we move forward. Carefully, I nodded, feeling a mix of triumph and dread. Acceptance was one thing. Survival was another. Power tasted sweet, but the stakes were higher than ever. Later, Marcus met me near the elevators. So, you did it. I did, I said, voice low. Terms intact. Autonomy preserved. But I feel like I just stepped onto a battlefield. Good, he said. Feel the fear. It keeps you alive. Dylan won't like this. He'll escalate. And with Vanessa involved, expect manipulation, rumors, traps. I know, I admitted. But I can't stay passive anymore. I'm tired of being afraid, of waiting for disaster. I have to play. Exactly, Marcus said, clapping a hand on my shoulder. This is your first taste of agency. Don't waste it. And watch your back. Dylan is relentless. I walked back to my desk, thoughts swirling. Dylan's smirk yesterday, Vanessa whispering in corners, yes, danger lurked. But I also realized something. I was no longer helpless. Decisions were mine. Influence was mine. Choice was mine. At lunch, I caught Dylan staring. His expression was neutral, but I saw the calculation behind his eyes. I met his gaze. You planning something? I asked, voice calm. Maybe, he said smoothly. Or maybe I'm just enjoying watching you squirm. Choices, Evan. You just made yours. I smiled faintly, ignoring the tremor in my stomach. I made them, and I'll deal with whatever comes next. Later, in a rare quiet moment, I stared at the city from the office window. $10 million. Influence. Power. Partnership with Serena. My mind raced with potential, possibilities, and consequences. I've chosen, I whispered. I've stepped into the fire. But I'm ready to see if I survive it, or master it. Serena's words from yesterday echoed in my mind. Resilience, intelligence, and discretion. Those three will serve you well. I felt the first real taste of control, and it was intoxicating. Fear still lingered, but beneath it, spark of confidence burned. Whatever Dylan and Vanessa planned, whatever office politics, whatever storms awaited, I was no longer just a player. I was shaping my own destiny. And for the first time, I didn't feel afraid to do it. I watched from my desk as Dylan strutted through the office, smirking as if he had the entire floor under his control. But today, something was off. His usual swagger faltered. Evan, check this out, Marcus whispered, leaning over. Looks like your friend Dylan just hit a wall. I squinted. Dylan was mid-conversation with Vanessa, whispering furiously. Her expression was unreadable, but he looked frustrated, almost panicked. What happened? I asked quietly. Not sure, Marcus said. But word is, his little scheme backfired. Big time. I felt a flicker of satisfaction, mixed with guilt. Part of me wanted to laugh. Part of me didn't. Watching someone fail was complicated. Before I could dwell, Alina appeared beside my desk. Serena wants to see you, she said, expression neutral. I followed her to Serena's office, heart racing. She sat behind her desk, fingers steepled, calm as always. Sit, she said. I obeyed. Ms. Frost. Dylan's. Yes, she said, finishing my thought. He overestimated himself. Underestimated consequences and underestimated me. I blinked. So, this was your plan? Not entirely, she said, eyes sharp. But I did position events to reveal natural consequences. Karma is effective when allowed to run its course. I nodded slowly, feeling a mix of awe and unease. I guess it's satisfying. Seeing betrayal unravel. Be careful, she said. Satisfaction is fleeting. Observation is more powerful. Notice patterns. Understand motives. That is true advantage. I realized she wasn't just letting Dylan fail. She had guided events subtly, creating conditions where his ambition and misjudgment would collide naturally. That was terrifyingly brilliant. So, I'm learning, I said. Observing, understanding, maybe even growing. Yes, she said softly, a rare hint of warmth. Growth is necessary, but don't let it make you complacent. The next move is always critical. I swallowed. I want to do it right this time. Not just survive, but make calculated moves. Avoid mistakes. That's why I trust you, she said. You see, without being blinded by ego, you act without panic. Dylan failed because he let both dominate him. I exhaled slowly, realizing the truth in her words. Power wasn't just about money or position, it was patience, observation, timing. At that moment, a commotion outside drew our attention. Dylan and Vanessa were arguing, voices rising, attracting whispers from nearby colleagues. I felt a strange mixed satisfaction, yes, but also guilt. Part of me didn't want anyone to suffer. Another part wanted justice, Serena observed silently. Notice how consequences unfold, she said. Not my hand directly, but guided. Observe, learn, internalize. That is true power, I nodded, feeling my mind shift. The thrill of watching betrayal fail wasn't enough. Understanding, strategy, foresight, that's what mattered. Later, back at my desk, Marcus leaned over. Looks like karma caught up with Dylan, huh? Yeah, I said, voice low, but it's complicated. I feel responsible somehow. I didn't act directly, but I knew Serena was orchestrating things. Guilt and satisfaction often mix, he said. That's the human part. The smart part is recognizing what you can control and what you can't. I stared at my reflection in the computer screen. Survivor, observer, strategist. The taste of empowerment was different now, not reckless, but measured, cautious, calculated. A ping from Dylan's email caught my attention. Subject, unexpected consequences. I didn't open it, not yet. Some lessons were better learned by observation. Serena appeared briefly at my cubicle. You're handling this well, she said. Keep your focus. Your restraint. Trust your judgment. Thank you, I whispered. Her approval felt heavier than praise. Responsibility, expectation, power. I leaned back in my chair, eyes on the floor. Dylan's failure was satisfying, but the lesson was clear. Power without strategy is fleeting. Karma was effective, yes, but intelligence, observation, and restraint were permanent tools. By the end of the day, the office buzz returned, whispers fading. Dylan slouched at his desk, visibly shaken. Vanessa sat silently beside him, expression unreadable. I realized then that things had shifted. Not only had betrayal been exposed, but I had witnessed, learned, and survived. Serena's subtle guidance had turned disaster into opportunity, I whispered to myself. Almost in disbelief, I'm not just surviving, I'm learning. And maybe, just maybe, I can control my own fate now. A faint smile crossed my face. Power was intoxicating. But wisdom, that was priceless. The office was empty, lights dimmed, the hum of the city outside filling the space. I walked toward Serena's office, heart pounding, mind racing. Today, everything would change, Evan, Serena said as I entered. She stood near the window, arms crossed, calm yet magnetic. You're on time. I wouldn't be late for this, I said, swallowing nervously. This proposal, our arrangement. She raised an eyebrow, a faint smile tugging at her lips. Arrangement, partnership, choice. Words matter. I choose. All of it, I said firmly. You, the marriage, the alliance, everything. On my terms, as we agreed. She stepped closer, eyes locking with mine. And you understand what that means? Responsibilities, scrutiny, consequences. I do, I whispered, and I accept them. I've learned patience, observation, strategy. I won't be a pawn, Serena. I'll be your partner. Her expression softened ever so slightly. Partner. That's rare. Few ever truly reach this understanding with me. I've seen the ice, I said, voice low. Felt the cold. Witnessed strategy and power. And I respect it. Admire it. Maybe even... My words faltered, caught between fear and honesty. Even care for it. She studied me silently, then nodded. I care about capability, intelligence, and restraint. Those survive storms. Emotion is secondary yet. It can be powerful. I swallowed, heart hammering. Then let it be powerful. Let it guide us forward. Together, she extended a hand. Then, let us formalize it. Privately, no spectacle. No unnecessary eyes. I took her hand, firm but tentative. Agreed, private, honest. A quiet ceremony was held in her office. No witnesses, only the two of us and the weight of everything that had led here. Papers signed, words exchanged, promises made, not just of finance or power, but of mutual respect and understanding. "You've changed," Serena said softly, once the documents were finalized. From hesitant, uncertain, to decisive, strategic. "I trust you now, and I trust you," I said. Not blindly, but fully aware. I've learned from observing, from mistakes, from Dylan's downfall. She smiled faintly, eyes gleaming. Dylan and Vanessa are consequences of ambition without foresight. Karma in motion. Justice achieved without my hand directly, I nodded. It's satisfying, but strange, watching failure unfold naturally. Observation is as important as action, she said. Remember that. That's what separates survival from mastery. I exhaled, feeling the weight of truth in her words. The fear, the panic, the doubts they had all led me here. To understanding, to empowerment, to partnership with someone who is more than the ice queen she appeared to be. Later, Marcus stopped by my desk, smiling. "Heard congratulations are in order?" I said. "It's complicated, but it feels right. Strategic and personal." "Right," he said. "You've grown, learned, survived, and maybe even thrived." I smiled faintly. Thrived. Yes. But cautiously, carefully, this is just the beginning. Across the office, Dylan slumped at his desk, defeat etched on his face. Vanessa left silently, no words. Karma had its course. Lessons delivered. I felt satisfaction, but tempered by reflection. Power was intoxicating, yes, but responsibility. Heavier than I ever imagined, Serena approached, standing close. "You realize this. Changes everything," she said. "Not just externally, but internally. Your choices, your strategy, your heart, all involved now." "I know," I whispered, "and I'm ready. To manage, to survive, to excel. With you." She extended her hand again. I took it, feeling the unspoken trust, the bond forged through fire and ice. The journey from fear, uncertainty, and betrayal to strategy, partnership, empowerment was complete. The city lights outside glittered like possibilities. We stood together, powerful, cautious, aware. The office, once a battlefield, now felt like a space of opportunity. A kingdom we would navigate together, minds aligned, hearts tempered, strategy intact. I whispered softly, almost to myself, from fear to power, from pawn to partner. And yet, I'm ready for what comes next. Serena's eyes met mine, calm, unwavering. "Then let's proceed. Carefully, strategically, together." And in that moment I realized the Ice Queen was no longer untouchable, and I was no longer powerless. Fire and ice, strategy and emotion, partnership and empowerment finally intertwined.